What up? It's your boy T-Burn. Her reaction to Days Wrestling Wednesday. So I'm about to take another video from Volano. Like I say, he does videos that's aside from the current state of wrestling, like the all time wrestling. This one's an interesting one. I thought you should check out as well too. It's called 20 great WWE wrestlers who had zero chemistry. One thing about a match, though, while it looks good on the card and on paper, there's times that it don't come out the same because the chemistry is not there. Chemistry, in a way, is a must when it comes to wrestling matches as well too, no matter who they are as well too, no matter what class. That's why on the my the not the rod the what's the manager name? The management mode as well too. Not career mode. Hold on a second. The management mode on WWE 2K. I can't think of it right now because what is it modes? All right, what's the modes right here? Feature. My GMO, yes. That's why my GMO, like they have wrestlers. You got to pick a class, say, they can coexist as well too. With that, same with this, and sometimes and they just because they are two big guys or two small guys. Sometimes the big and small gotta have a good chemistry, same and vice versa. So I'm saying. So other than that, though, we'll look at 20 times that the wrestlers were great. It looked good on paper, looked good on the card, but when the match came out, it didn't come out so well most of the time because there was no chemistry. So without further ado, 20 great W wrestler who has zero chemistry. Love to hear
Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns proved that some wrestlers have amazing
it.
chemistry in the
Mm-hmm.
ring. On the other hand, a match like John Cena versus Cody Rhodes shows us the opposite. Today, we're going to take a look at 20 great wrestlers who just couldn't put it together when facing each other, no matter how talented they were. Number 10, Randy Orton and Sheamus. Sheamus and Randy have had
Be honest, I can see that in a way. You gotta think about it though. Like, as much as look good in the card, I can kind of see that. Yeah, he probably talking about that match that the fans was not interested in. Like, and it sucked the time. It was around the time that WWE was on a down period too. So yeah.
had a number of high profile matches
Mm-hmm.
throughout their respective careers,
Yup.
but sadly, every time they've wrestled, the in ring psychology has been somewhat poor, and they never had a truly great match together.
Mm-hmm.
The two had their fair share of matches in 2010, and the matches were rather underwhelming as their two styles simply weren't
Mm-hmm.
compatible. The WWE even tried to book the duo in a Hell in a Cell match, but this
Yep.
did little to create any chemistry between the two decorated performers. One of their more notable matches took place on the Raw after WrestleMania 29, and the crowd wanted
Mm-hmm.
absolutely nothing
Yup.
from either man,
Yup.
proceeding to boo them extensively
Mm-hmm.
and even doing the wave rather than watching the
Yup.
match. The two would once again feud in 2015, but yet again, their matches just
Mm-hmm.
did not click. Number 9, AJ Lee and Paige. When AJ Lee and Paige began their feud in
Ooh.
2014, a
Now
lot of
this is nah, that's interesting, but I can see that because it was kind of random, but ooh.
fans were initially excited. AJ had ascended to the top of the women's division in WWE, and Paige had become one of the brightest young female stars
Mm-hmm.
that WWE had ever seen, so this was classed as somewhat of a dream match to many fans. Unfortunately, their matches together were repeatedly poor. The two women had a number of pay-per-view matches throughout 2014, and the matches just never seemed to get out of the second gear. The SummerSlam match is often cited as one of the worst of theirs. However, AJ was injured during the match, which no doubt had an impact on the
That
quality of
sucks.
the match. The best match the duo had with each other was a triple threat match with Nikki Bella at the Night of Champions
Mm-hmm.
pay-per-view. The lack of chemistry between WWE's two biggest female stars was incredibly disappointing as fans were expecting
Right.
greatness, and what they got instead was something else entirely. Number 8, Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho. Kevin
Really?
Owens and Chris
Wow. Okay,
Jericho
now we
had
starting to get
incredible chemistry.
now it's starting to get interesting now because we thought we always remember that moment where they had the little the book of KO and then he turned them all that. Wow. I guess he was better as a tag team to the opponents then.
chemistry as a tag team. However, when it
Mm-hmm.
came to the duo's chemistry
Yup, the list will
inside the
call yo.
ring, something always felt off.
Mm-hmm.
Their match at WrestleMania 33 was really lackluster, and even WWE Chairman Vince McMahon himself refused to speak to Kevin Owens after the match as he was so let down by the matchup. Jericho stated that the reasons the two did not click in that match was because the match should have been for the Universal Championship and it should have been the main event. He also stated the fact
That's
that they were
yup.
second on the card, which is a terrible position to be in, and this
Mm-hmm.
negatively impact the match quality. The rematch at the Payback pay-per-view was better to an extent, but it wasn't at the level you would expect from two of the best in-ring performers in
Right.
WWE history. Number 7, Randy Orton and Triple H. Randy
And that explains why that. Hold on a second. Let me do something real quick. Now that totally explained that one because a lot of people talk about how the match that led up to the build up for the match was pretty good, but the match itself wasn't as good. That explains a lot. Wow.
Randy Orton and Triple H have had over a dozen matches together throughout the years. They've even main evented WrestleMania, but for some reason, there's never been a standout match of their feud. The duo would first feud in 2004 after Triple H and Evolution turned on Orton, and their match at the Unforgiven pay-per-view is mostly known for Orton dropping the world title to Triple H just 1 month after winning it, and a lot of people
Yeah.
didn't like that. They
The
would wrestle a number of times over the next few years,
Terra.
but the matches were unfortunately never anything special. In 2007 and 2008, the duo would have a number of gimmick matches, including a last man standing match at No Mercy, which was probably the best match they've ever had, but even that wouldn't make a lot of fans' list of the best last man standing matches in wrestling history. In 2009, the duo would be involved in one of the best builds to a WrestleMania main event ever, as Orton would target the entire McMahon family, but unfortunately, their WrestleMania match was a massive dud, and it was overshadowed by the Shawn Michaels and Undertaker main event. The duo's most recent match was at the Super Showdown pay-per-view in 2019, and this would act as a nostalgia match for the Saudi audience and offer nothing new in terms of quality from the two WWE legends. Number 6, Kane and The Big Show. The Big Show and Kane had great chemistry during their
See, it's getting interesting. The first one I could see, but now it's getting interesting.
days as a tag team duo in 2005 and 2006. However, when the two actually squared off in the circle, it was never pretty. The duo wrestled a number of times throughout the years, and the matches ranged from passable to downright awful.
Like I said, it's kind of like how they have on the My GMO, like the class wasn't because they were like pretty much two big guys and it didn't work out. So yeah, I can get it.
Some context
Cause
to
it's crazy. It's kind of like they almost like two big guys. No matter how much it looks good on paper and card, they don't. It's rare they do good together. They get good against each other. It's very rare. Yeah, I mean, I'm not talking about like a muscle guy like Brock versus like a muscle guy versus Brock versus Big Show maybe, but two like sex big guys like these. I mean, Ken Undertaker did pretty good, but sometimes that's like one of the rarities. Other than that, sometimes it doesn't work well. I mean, we got that when they had Undertaker go against Johnny Gonzalez, and then the Undertaker versus Great Khali. Yeah, it just doesn't work sometimes. No matter what. The Undertaker versus Diesel kind of work in a way, but still, like it does. It's always rare. Surprisingly, it's always rare.
their pay-per-view matches in 1999 were rated -1 star by Dave Meltzer from the
Mm,
Wrestling Observer newsletter, and it didn't get any better 7 years later when they clashed at Backlash in
hmm
2006. Their match would once again be rated at a -1 star. Despite being great friends in real life and making a great tag team, the two
hmm
simply just couldn't have a good or even decent passable match against each other. Number 5, Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy. The Hardy Boys are
Yeah.
classed by many
Of course, yeah. It's because they're better as a team. They're better as together going as a team. I hate to say it, but it's almost like the Usos. They're better as being teaming with each other than going against each other. That's probably why. So yeah.
as one of the greatest tag teams of all time. However, for some unknown reasons, when the two faced off in the ring, the chemistry simply just wasn't there. This doesn't mean to say that the two didn't have entertaining matches together.
They
They
did.
certainly did. Their cinematic matches in Impact Wrestling are incredibly memorable, but when it comes to a standard wrestling match, something always felt off. Their match at the 2001 Vengeance pay-per-view was rated at just over a star by Dave Meltzer, which should have been a sign that the two should remain as a tag team combination. Their feud in 2009 wasn't even supposed to happen, but nevertheless, the two would have a number of matches, including an Extreme Rules match at WrestleMania 25. I think the main issue with these two was the fact that fans did not want to see them wrestle. The
Exactly.
desire from the fans was to see them fighting side by side, not one-on-one, and
Pretty
this no
much.
doubt had an influence on how their matches would play out. Number 4, The Undertaker and Kane. When fans
I spoke too soon. Jesus, maybe I'm wrong about that. Damn. Like I said, it's very rare. It's probably rare, but majority of the time is not good that two big guys like that don't can wrestle it don't have the great chemistry. You know what I mean, because sometimes you come off as slow and unimpressive. So yeah. Oh wow, I spoke too soon.
talk about iconic WWE feuds, one of the rivalries that they usually discuss is a feud between The Undertaker and Kane. Their feud during the Attitude Era was without a doubt one of the strongest stories the WWE has ever told. However, when it comes to the quality of the matches, they weren't exactly great. The best match the duo would have was at WrestleMania 14, and then all the matches afterwards just got progressively worse. Their matches at SummerSlam 2000 and WrestleMania 20 were poor from a wrestling standpoint, although the stories going into their respective matches were always top tier. Their feud in 2010
Yeah,
featured
story's
some of
good,
the worst
but
matches between the
matches never build
duo.
up.
They were both
Build up
limited
wasn't
and
good.
washed by the year of 2010, and the matches truly showed. Their matches inside Hell in a Cell and their Buried Alive match were designed to hide the limitations of both men, but they would still even under-deliver. Number 3, Kevin Owens and AJ Styles.
Wow.
AJ Styles and Kevin Owens are two of the most celebrated performers of the modern
This is
era.
interesting.
However, their feud in 2017 would fail to live up to the standard that fans expected from the duo. The two would face off at a number of pay-per-view events, and each time the fans were left disappointed. Each match seemed to be either really slow or the talented duo would mess up the finish. The feud would end up involving Shane McMahon towards the end, and fans speculated that this was added so the feud wouldn't fall completely flat.
Oh, that's
Even
explain
weirder
that.
was that AJ would go on to have better matches in that same year with Jinder Mahal, despite Jinder being a lot less talented in that ring in
Yeah.
comparison to Owens. The idea that Owens and AJ had little to no chemistry is believed to be shared by Owens himself. This is what he would state.
But you know, it's not always a recipe for miracles. Like me and AJ will talk about it all the time. We're both really good at this, but for some reason, our matches for a long while like just didn't hit, and we both would come back and go, "Wow, what happened? I don't know." You know, try again next time. And the fans acknowledge it all the time. Like Kevin and AJ, it's no chemistry, I guess. And yeah, I don't know. Some guys it just works better than others. I don't know.
Number 2, Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Undertaker. Austin and The Undertaker would wrestle a number of
it, man.
times during the Attitude
Yeah,
Era and
more
even in
interesting.
the early stages of the Ruthless Aggression Era.
Right.
Although on paper the two should have really clicked in that ring, their matches always fell flat, and there was always something that was off when the two went one-on-one. Austin even agrees with this, and this is what he said about the two and their chemistry in a podcast.
I takered myself because I think the characters of The Undertaker and Stone Cold were in many ways very similar. You got two badass guys, and just neither one of us are true sympathy type baby faces, if that's what you want to call us. I got nothing but respect for Undertaker. I'm sure he probably thinks pretty well of me. We didn't have the greatest in-ring chemistry like I had with Brett, he had with Shawn, he had with Bray.
I think they kind of did. That's kind of the other reason why that didn't exist because there's at the time when they were rival at the time, especially the first one, they both was baby faces. And sometimes, there and we get that there's guys who have faces versus faces match. I mean, definitely work with Rock and Stone Cold, let Stone Cold turn heel or vice versa. Or there's other times there's been some face versus faces matches that did coexist, but but at the same time, there's sometimes they don't as well too. Even same with Hill versus Hill. Like sometimes a Hill versus Hill match don't work as well too, and then sometimes it will. But most of the time they won't work. I mean, because one between them, you're gonna know who to root for, who to feel bad for as well too. What all of them, and they're the same with Hill. We don't know who to boo or anything. I mean, there's like I said. Uh, it works, but sometimes it finds a way to work with some wrestlers, no, but other times it doesn't. And this was one of the time for it, I'm guessing.
Brett, or I had with some of the other guys.
And number 1, Randy Orton and Bray
Yeah.
Wyatt. For what
Now I understand. Now this is understandable because neither of the matches hit it at all. No matter what, neither of the match hit it at all. I mean, like I said, the build up was crazy. The match outcome just didn't work.
whatever reason, Bray Wyatt versus Randy is a feud that WWE would continue to go back to despite the two having incredibly poor matches together. Their series of matches in 2016 were a complete letdown, which was disappointing as the story going into the match was very strong. The WrestleMania 33 match was one of the worst WWE title matches in WrestleMania history and made the fans have no desire to see the two wrestle again. They then had a cinematic style match, the House of Horrors match, a month later, and this also did little to manufacture some chemistry. Then in 2020, the two would feud once again,
Yup.
but this time while Bray Wyatt was portraying the Fiend character, and this time it was even worse, and many fans thought it was the worst match of the entire WrestleMania 37 weekend. Anyways, that is it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely. Like I said, the ones I wasn't surprised was the first and last one was the ones I wasn't surprised about. Like Shane and Orton, I can see that. And the Bray and Wyatt, because I witnessed this as well too. The bigger shock was on Takane Undertaker. Well, like I say, it goes to show it according to my idea, and I was right. That how like and sadly, guys, two having two big guys work with each other doesn't work at all. Don't work sometimes. It's like very very rare it does work. I mean, maybe I could be wrong about Kevin Nash and Undertaker working together, but yeah, sometimes it doesn't always work together. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, because sometimes you gotta bounce off each other. Two big guys bounce off each other is not going to work because 9 times out of 10 they're going to be slower than the pace is not going to be as great. Well, other than that, though, this was a cool video. So if you like my reaction, like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's your boy T signing off. One love.